Promotions, Nakisa
Let
Bidarian,
me tell
is
y'all something.
questioning.
Eddie Hearn. I don't know what's going on with Eddie Hearn and Jerron Ennis. But I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't make sense. The stuff that I'm hearing right now about Jerron Boots Ennis and him not fighting Virgil Ortiz. Now, I'm gonna show you something, right? Dan Raphael is a pretty respectful guy. Where is it? He just posted. But he comes out here and he says, okay, so what supposedly happened is Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Boots Ennis had agreed to a fight. But then when the contracts, I guess, was sent over to Virgil Ortiz, the fight was trying to be contracted by Eddie Hearn and Jerron Boots Ennis at 147 pounds. Now, we all know 147 pounds for Virgil Ortiz. We know that's not going to happen. The man barely making 154. You know how sick he got, almost died a couple of times at 147. I don't even have any jokes for that. What I'm looking at this and I'm really disappointed that Eddie Hearn was okay with pushing that. You know what I'm saying? I understand you want Jerron Boots Ennis to keep his title at 147. You don't want him to lose it if he goes up to 154 to fight Virgil Ortiz. But you got to make a decision. Now, why waste everybody's time? Why come out here to the public and get everybody excited? Big fight, February 22nd. A dream fight card. Just to come out here for us to learn, per Dan Raphael, that the contract, the fight was supposed to be contracted at 147, which is just, that's just one way to get out of fighting Virgil Ortiz. Now, I still think it'll be a competitive fight at 154, but I don't understand the method behind the madness, man. I just don't get it. Anyway, Virgil Ortiz came out here and he said, let me show you right here what he said. He said right here, I've always said I'll fight anybody. I remain true to my word. Every single person that I've been offered to fight, I said yes. It takes two to tango in boxing. He said, so if I'm not in that ring fighting someone, no, it's not my fault. Time for some of you guys to stop saying I'm ducking and don't want to fight, because that's not the case this time and never was 100%. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I tend to believe what Virgil Ortiz is saying here. I just wish, if Eddie Hearn comes out and he starts talking, I really don't want to hear what Eddie Hearn has to say. My concern is for Jerron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? I really, really am waiting for Jerron Ennis to come out and say something to Eddie Hearn. But where does Jerron Boots Ennis' career go from here? That's the other thing. I'm not saying his career is over, but if you look at the way it's been handled so far since he's hooked up with Eddie Hearn, and I'm going to say there's a different expectation for Eddie Hearn. Jerron's fought Evanesian, he's fought Chikadzian, and now it looked like he was going to get a good opportunity against Virgil Ortiz, since Eddie Hearn couldn't make any other fight at 147 because Eddie Hearn is saying everybody wants more money than what they deserve. And now Boots Ennis is here missing out on a huge opportunity on a massive fight card, Riyadh season fight card. Those fights they have lined up on there are all Grand Slams. All of them. So I really wish there was I'm sure Eddie Hearn will come out and say something, but there was some kind of explanation as to why this fight is no longer happening. When you think about Jerron Boots Ennis missing out on opportunities to fight on huge fight cards. I know he fought on the Gervonta Davis card in D.C., but there was another opportunity for him to fight on the undercard was it? I don't know if it was Javante Davis. I can't remember who it was, but remember he wanted to do his own thing, like up there in one of those casinos on the East Coast. But he was supposed to do his own thing, and most of the boxing community felt like, why would he pass up an opportunity to be on? Oh yeah, he's not the main attraction, but to fight on that undercard, there's so many eyes are going to be on it. Anyway, he chose not to do it, and here it is again. I'm not saying he's choosing not to do it, but there's I can't make sense of why you wouldn't want to be on that undercard for the money, for the exposure, and the opportunity to go up to 154 and clip Ortiz. Now, I don't know all this. No one knows all the answers as far as behind the scenes what took place. But maybe it has something to do with him wanting to keep that belt. Or maybe Eddie Hearn has managed to, lock in something else at 147. I don't know. But what I do know is Oscar De La Hoya is going to have a field day with this shit. Because no matter how you want to say it, let's just be real. It's Virgil or it's Jerron Boots and his team. And I'm not blaming Jerron, solely blaming him, but his team, right? They collectively killed the Virgil Ortiz fight. And if what Dan Raphael is reporting is true, it's just not good, man. I don't know. Just not the kind of news I wanted to hear, man. I just pumped out, with the last couple of days, 4 or 5 videos. And it's just for this to find out that, all that shit is a waste of time because now you got this. Raphael says here, the notion by anyone that Virgil Ortiz will come down to 147 is comedy. Guy ended up in the hospital at his last 147 weight cut. Why Ennis team wasting everyone's time just to put 147 in the paperwork in the last minute is disingenuous of the highest order. Yeah, I agree with him on that. If what he's saying is true, I agree with him on that. That's ridiculous, man. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. That fight can't be at 147. Everybody knows that. It doesn't matter if you think Virgil Ortiz, according to Blair Cobb, was taking steroids, and that's why he had the issues that he had with rhabdomyolysis. It doesn't matter if you believe it had nothing to do with steroids. He was just cutting way too much weight, and his body responded accordingly. But gonna shut down. So it doesn't matter what you believe. The fact remains is Virgil Ortiz cannot make 147 because it's dangerous for him. At 154, I don't even think that's the sweet spot, but he can get to 154. I just think that it's I don't know what's going to happen with Jerron Boots in his career. Because so far, I haven't seen nothing good since he's been with Eddie Hearn. But maybe Turkiana Sheik has something to do with it. You just don't know. But one thing we do know is it's the idea that they wanted to try to make this fight at 147. To come at the last minute and throw that out there is just horrible. Horrible. Talk about taking it to the stupid. Anyway, I'm in the breeze.